Today we're going to take a walk in Medellin with me and my friend, and I will talk about safety in Colombia, in particular in the city of Medellin. Now, for those who plan to visit for the first time, you can pronounce the city in two ways. Usually, people outside of the city pronounce Medellin, the way I pronounce it. But people within the city, which are called Paisas, they pronounce it as Medellin. So both ways are correct. It's like similar to how when I go to Brazil, if I'm in Rio, people in Rio are called cariocas, and how I would say good morning would be bom dia. But if I go outside of Rio, in particular, for example, like somewhere in the north, maybe in Natal, they might say bon dia. So it's a hard D, but both ways are correct. So let's jump into the topic of the truth about safety in Medellin. This city is as safe as you make it, plain and simple. Colombia was the second South American country I visited, which was around 2011, and up until now, I have ran into no incidents. You have to remember each person is different. I don't drink, therefore, I don't go to bars. If I'm going out to a club, I'm not there to meet people because I already have somebody with me that I personally know. I don't go to strip clubs, and I'm not into buying women to make them pretend to like me. So if you do things opposite of me, I would say, yeah, take precautions and make smart choices to protect yourself and your property. Other than that, don't blame the city or country because of your bad choices. It's a collective of people visiting the city, getting robbed and or drugged. So this means they created an environment for this to happen. Because if you meet a woman or man with means, they will create a safe environment for you, like the one you seeing now. I met my friend and we went out for lunch, and now we're going to walk around the city. So she has means, meaning her own financial resources. She supports herself with a job, so she's financially independent. Also, her character is not to put me in a bad situation that could jeopardize her losing her job or getting in trouble. Now, I have met women that was in between jobs or didn't have a job at the moment or was in the moment of going to a university, but always I've chose a woman with good character. And this is her behavior, her actions, her interactions with other people. All this plays an important role in meeting someone and putting trust into someone. So if you plan on coming to this city, especially if it's your first time, I wouldn't have such a stress about coming here thinking something's going to happen, because if you're not engaging in activity that requires you to open your wallet, then you should be safe. You should be okay, because the only people that is getting drugged, especially in this city, is not Colombians, it's foreigners. Now, I'm not trying to say that Colombia or Medellin is some safe haven location that nothing's going to happen to you. I always say in my videos, you always expect the unexpected. So yes, there is crime here. I can actually cut right now, show you some videos of some crime or crimes with an S that has happened here in Medellin. Here's an example of someone actually bringing a gun inside of a club and shooting someone. And here's another example of a bus getting robbed. So, you always want to take precautions. When I'm traveling to a different country, I try to avoid public transportation unless I'm with someone and they want to take it for some reason. But other than that, I'll take a taxi or an Uber. To me, it's much faster and I feel much safer. But these are the things that happen when you travel. So you have to create your own environment and you have to take precautions. And the last video I'm going to show you at the end is kind of gory. So again, I'm not going to show you the full video, But what happened in this video is someone got robbed when a motorcycle pulled close near them, and it was a bad ending. So these are all things that could happen. Again, in all my videos, I always say you have to expect the unexpected, especially when you're traveling to a foreign place. All I'm saying is create a safe environment for yourself. Therefore, nothing bad should happen to you.
Señor, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Gracias.
Oh, no, gracias.
¿No les provoca una bandeja paisa?
Gracias, gracias.
Una bandeja normal.
Tilapia,
Estamos ahí.
trucha,
Hay trucha,
sierra.
boca chico, bagre frito. Hay arroz de coco también, mi amor.
¿Cuál es mejor?
Parce, para mí que me gusta, por ejemplo, la cachama, el róbalo o la tilapia. ¿De cuál es mejor de los pescados?
Bueno, es Boca Chico, mi hermano. Costeño sabroso.
Boca chico. Ese ahí.
Boca
ese es
chica.
especial. ¿Ah?
Espina.
Pero,
Sí,
pero
tiene
depende,
espina.
si está bien arrolladito, se deja comer.
Sí, se me regala la oportunidad de llevarlo. Estamos ahí.
¿Tú vas a comer?
Ahora no.
Ok.
Más tarde.
Ok, muchos ahorita más.
Dale, no hay
Ok.
problema.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Bienvenidos al parque.
Listo.
Ayude Queen, ayude King, ayude Queen, ayude a Harley Quinn. Yo lo vi Orlando, Magic, ya tú sabes cómo que y lo bueno que me estoy haciendo duro en internet. Inca, Maya, Azteca, ahora es tecnología, ya no juega con muñeca. Cristóbal Colón, la Pita, la Niña, la Santa María, la tres embarcación, bueno, normal, me encuentras en la Botero. Tengo 20 años y este mismo año voy a tener mucho dinero.
Fala.
Yeah, freaking money, cash.
Safety at night in Medellin, Colombia can vary depending on the specific neighborhood and location within the city you're in. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you have to create your own safe environment, not only when you travel to Colombia, but when you travel anywhere in the world that you're not familiar with. You have to stay in well-lit areas. Don't walk down a street that's poorly lit or it's deserted and you see no one walking there and you decided, well, let me take this shortcut just to get back to my apartment, hotel, or to meet someone, and then you end up getting robbed, and now you're mad at the whole city or the country because you made a poor choice. So stay in well-lit areas always. Another thing is you always want to use reliable transportation of some type of ride sharing app that is popular and used in that country, because not all countries have Uber. Not all countries use Uber. So you have to do your own research to check what is popular and what is used within that country and that city you're going to. So we're talking about Medellin, Colombia. Here they use Uber. So make use of it. It's fast, it's easy to use, versus trying to get a taxi. Probably you're not fluent in the language, so you're not going to know what the taxi driver is saying or what kind of information they're giving you about the area that you want to go to. So to avoid all of that, of a price haggle, use Uber. It's much easier also than trying to take any type of public transportation. So use reliable transportation. We're talking about Medellin, Colombia. Take advantage of using Uber. Also, you have to be cautious with your belongings. You have to keep your belongings in a secure and mindful place in your surroundings. And we're talking about your apartment or your hotel. With me, if I'm staying in an apartment or hotel and I see a safe, I never use it at all. I never use the safe. I use my suitcase as my safe. So I lock up all my, if I have jewelry, extra cell phone, extra cash, extra credit cards, anything worth of value, I put it in some type of clothing or some type of secure place within my suitcase. I lock it up and I take the key with me. So if you want to steal my belongings, you're going to have to steal this big ass suitcase that's heavy. So I make sure I do not leave anything, anything worth of value out when I'm in an apartment or hotel. So my laptop, everything is in my suitcase locked up and the key is on me. Also, people ask about, wearing some type of jewelry or expensive jewelry. And you can, because it's not like when you go to these countries, the people of that country, they don't wear jewelry, because they do. I see it all the time. But you have to just be mindful of the location you're in. Is it a good idea to wear this piece of jewelry that you plan to wear? But just know, wearing jewelry, it displays that you have something expensive on, whether it is fake or real. I'm just saying that to a robber, it displays expensive. This person got money. This person maybe have some type of other valuables than just a chain, maybe a wallet or maybe the new iPhone. So you don't want unwanted attention. But again, the people of these countries, they wear jewelry. So, you don't want to not wear jewelry if that's what you're used to. So that's a personal preference. Also, you might want to use some type of money belt or some type of hidden pouch to store your extra cash or extra credit cards or even your passport. With me, any type of extra things that I do have, whether it's cash or a credit card, I just put it within my sock. And yes, I did mention passport because as a tourist, which is a foreigner to another country, yes, you have to take your passport with you if you plan on going anywhere outside of your apartment or hotel room. Your passport is your identification. It is your primary identification when you're in a foreign country. It is a legal requirement in most countries that you carry a valid passport just to be identified while you in the streets of that foreign country. Failure to do this could lead you getting a fine. You could get a penalty, or you might just meet a cop that could use this to make a little extra money off of you because you failed to have it. You don't want to get to your apartment or hotel room and leave your passport there and then go outside and God forbid you get hit by a car and now you have no type of identification because you chose to leave your passport inside your hotel or your apartment room. Or you can go out and get robbed. And now the police ask for your identification and your answer is it's in my hotel. You cannot predict what can happen to you, so just bring it. I'll give you 2 examples of things that happened to me. When I visited Brazil in a city called Campina Grande, about 15 minutes from leaving a bank, a police car stopped me, and then another police car came and they asked for my identification, which is, my passport, because I'm not a Brazilian citizen. And guess what? My passport was locked in my suitcase. But with my quick thinking, I took out my wallet and I showed them my U.S. Global Entry ID. And at the time, they looked at it and they had no idea what this was. They didn't know whether or not was it a passport identification or what. All they saw was my name and USA, so they knew I wasn't Brazilian. And because I knew a little Portuguese, I was able to tell them my passport is at my hotel room, and I showed them my hotel key, and they said sorry, and they left. Another incident was in the city of Maceió, Brazil. I went to the grocery store. I got a lot of groceries, and I paid by credit card, and I saw the woman look at my credit card, and she flipped it over. And she wasn't familiar with this bank, so she knew that this was not a Brazilian credit card, and she asked for my ID. So for me, that would be my passport. And at this time, guess what? I did have my passport, and I showed it to her, and I was able to get my groceries. So you don't want to run into incidents. And you also don't want to bring a paper copy of your passport or take a phone photo and expect this to be used as a valid passport identification, because most countries this really doesn't count, especially if you meet a police or some type of authority having a bad day or just want to make some extra money from a dumb tourist. They will use this as an advantage of saying your paper copy or your phone pic of your identification of your passport is not valid because it's not the actual passport. And you visit some countries that require a visa and they want to see it. So did you take a phone photo of your visa, pretty sure you didn't. Did you print out a copy of this? If so, guess what? It's still not the official document. It's still not the official passport. Carrying your passport with you ensures that you have the necessary legal documentation available when needed. Also, if you encounter legal issues that require you to visit your embassy in that country, you need your passport and not a phone pic or paper copies. Your phone pics and your paper copies should be used as backup just in case, but they should not be used as your primary source of your public identification when you go outside. And another thing is, for safety, you want to stay informed of the current safety situation in the country and city you plan on visiting. So you have to watch the local news. You have to see what's going on within that country, because you don't want to put your own self at risk, especially in dangerous situations that's happening within that country. Another thing is you want to avoid excessive alcohol, because this could lead to problems, because we all know when you drink, you do not make the right decisions. That's why I don't drink at all. I want to always be aware of all the decisions I make and not be under the influence of anything. Try to use ATMs if necessary in the day inside of malls or inside of a bank, and just trust your own instincts. That's about it.